Namaskar. In this video I will discuss about instance history 2. Mohan and Vishu. This case happened in 1991. It shows a powerful negative entity's assault on a male and also a youngster. The male, Mohan, was a hard, materialistic guy that did not then count on spirits or anything mythological. It was mid-afternoon, and also I needed bread and also milk. Mohan had gone down for coffee, and also my 3-year-old son Vishu was resting. I asked Mohan to babysit while I mostly likely go to the grocery store. I was just gone 15 minutes, yet all heck broke out while I was away. As I walked back to my front door, I was welcomed with screams from Vishu as well as Mohan, calling for assistance. I discovered them on their knees in the living room. Mohan was white as well as drinking like a leaf and unable to walk, holding a crying Vishu. I could hardly make out what Mohan was stating. "Get me out of here. Something's got me." I ordered Vishu as well as tossed him into the sandpit out in the backyard. After that I half carried Mohan out with the back entrance. He was drinking badly and could not walk alone. He gasped and also straightened up the split second we passed over the limit, saying, "It's gone. It's gone." Overwhelmed as well as surprised, he hunkered on the lawn and also told me what occurred. A minute after I had actually left, little Vishu had actually begun howling. Mohan discovered Vishu cowering in bed, directing at darkness in the far edge of the room. Mohan's hair stood on end as the shadows moved. He was likely to grab Vishu, but a hidden force knocked him back versus the wall surface. Everything went out of focus for him at this point. Mohan had problem reaching his feet as enormous, bone-racking shivers rushed with him. Not being one to give in, Mohan trembled his head and also charged. He grabbed Vishu and also surprised out of the room. He obtained halfway across the living room before he was driven to his knees by undetected pressures. He was unable to walk or creep any type of farther, and that's where I located them. When Mohan was settled, assuming the attack gone, then we returned within. Mohan vowed and also was up to his knees the immediate he stepped over the limit. Sound familiar? Once again, I half carried him back outside, and also again he tied it after going across the threshold. While I was not straight affected and also could not notice anything, all my alarm systems were going off. This was a major negative entity strike. I trying out Mohan as ideal I could, going across as well as recrossing the limit with him, each time with precisely the exact same result. This was so disturbing that after we did this a couple of times, he declined to re-enter your home. As I can recur as I delighted, I obtained Mohan a cold beer to settle his nerves. He was badly trembled. We sat on the patio area, attempting to exercise what had taken place. While I had my uncertainties, I might not describe them to Mohan in any way that would make good sense to him. He entrusted to go home quickly after this point. We thought it was throughout. Nevertheless, Mohan returned ashen encountered a few hours later on. The strike had actually started again soon after he left your house. Waves of shuddering and also goosebumps had hit him as he drove. His strong obsessions to swerve into oncoming web traffic. After a close to miss out on with a truck, he pulled into a supermarket. He quickly located himself purchasing in what he referred to as a surreal dreamlike Mal. Mohan filled up a cart with things he did not want or also might not manage, after that attempted to spend for them with a bag of turf. All of a sudden realizing what he was doing, Mohan made a rash departure, leaving the undesirable shopping behind. Returning to his auto, Mohan drove residents, combating suicidal advices all the way. He obtained a lift back to my house, hoping I can assist. I assisted him as finest I could with all I recognized during that time. Emotionally, he held himself against an incredibly awful negative entities. While the stronger signs and symptoms of straight negative entities assault relieved after a couple of weeks, Mohan's good luck changed and also his life most likely to pieces. He lost his task, his spouse tossed him out, and also at some point he relocated to one more state to start a brand new life. Over the following 3 years, he experienced almost nighttime negative entities attacks. He did the very best he might to overcome this. Psychologically solid, he hardly made it through. The signs and symptoms reduced after a couple of years, yet only as Mohan grew and transformed his way of life. Reflecting on all that occurred, as negative entities as it was, and the long term, the suffering Mohan experienced altered his life for the better. He currently lives a much more moderate, healthy, spiritual way of life. Mohan was fortunate to endure this level of negative entities attack. The experience with Mohan was not completely unexpectedly. We had been having troubles in our home for a long time, and my family members had actually simply endured a number of months of negative entity strikes. Up until the time of Mohan's strike, he had seemed immune to whatever and noticed nothing during his normal goes-to. Our household negative entities troubles did not alter after Mohan's experience, so it appears he did not take our resident negative entities away with him. Nonetheless, he certainly picked up something unpleasant that day. It was years later, and also only after the experience I had at Akshay's dinner celebration, that I understood what it was that damaged the strikes on Mohan at my back door. A domestic pipe went across the rear of the house as well as passed straight under the threshold of the back door. A yard tube was filling up the swimming pool at the time as well as laying on the back action against the limit. So water was passing through both these as Mohan tipped over the threshold. The water running through the pipeline as well as tube is what damaged the result of Mohan each time he experienced the back door, equally as water going through water main pipelines had for me at Akshay's front entrance. I also understood that the negative entities had actually been trapped inside my home till I turned off the yard tube a couple of minutes before Mohan left that day. This may clarify why the assaulting negative entities was able to adhere to Mohan when he left. Currently, we have a strong grounding on the situation as well as a fundamental understanding of negative entities' behavior and types. Let's take a look at exactly how individuals are revealed to these things and also what symptoms are included with different types of negative entities-related troubles.